a word from the Lord, come and preach to us.
But if there's something I love about my president, my pastor, is that he is a man of God. He's a Christian. Today I honor him and his lovely wife. He's going back to that keyboard. You guys are privileged to have men of God. I know he doesn't like this. Like recognition, but I have to do it because if you don't love him, I love him. Matter of fact, if you don't love him, that's better for me. I can love him even more. and today, I want to be guided by the Spirit. I promise you, I'll be long. But I do want to leave this message. Now, I dedicate this message to this new generation. But at the same time, I'm not trying to call you old. I was playing golf. One of my hobbies is to play golf. I was playing the TPO with an 89-year-old. I said, God, this round is going to take about 6 hours. He looked at me and he said, you might seem old, but I'm actually young. I said, how about that? He says, my mentality is still young. What makes you old is how you feel and how you think. And then while we were playing, he pulled out his GPS with his caddy on his iPhone 6. He told me, do you have this app where we can find our balls and sit up in the gardens? And I said, no. He said, see, you're old. I have not let this generation pass me. I still have an iPad. I still know how to use the cloud. It's like, wow. It's not how old you are, it's how old you feel you are. So if this message, you feel like it's not for you, it's because your mind is still in the 90s. But I wonder if I have some young, open-minded people in this house that says, I'm not going to let these 17-year-olds praise more than what I can do. I just saw the pastor jump up and down. He looked like an 18-year-old man. Because his mentality and his heart is still young. That's why he still preaches. That's why he still pastors. He's still hungry to win this generation. Let's honor him one more time. boys. I've known for many years. And my God, you guys are having a revival in this church. I see a growth like never before. I believe this is the hour, this is the time for Praise Tabernacle. This place is too small for y'all. See, the old-minded people are like, let's just stay here. But the new-minded people are like, this place is too small for us. I hope you guys love me after this message. I want to run out of here, but you'll love me with me. And after Daniel chapter 1, verse 3, I want to go to John, book of John 17:57. First, I'm reading off the Bible 101 because thou and it's very difficult for me, so I have to, you can say that down a little bit for me. Literature. Have patience with me because I translate my message from Spanish to English, so some words come out, just say Gloria a Dios. Then the king ordered Asmodeus, chief of his court's officials, to bring into the king's service some of the Israelites from the royal family and the nobilities. Young men without any physical defect, handsome, showing aptitude for every kind of learning, well-informed, quick to understand, and qualified to serve in the king's palace. He was to teach them the language and literature of Babylonians. One more time, it says that the king ordered Asmodeus, chiefs of the court officials, to bring into the king's service Israelites from the royal family and the nobilities, young men without any physical defect, handsome, showing aptitude for every kind of learning, well-informed, quick to understand, and qualified to serve in the king's house. John 17:15. This is the prayer that Jesus does. I just want to get to verse 15. If you have it, say amen.
Amen.
If you don't, say help me, Jesus. It says like this: I do not pray that you will take them out of the world. I pray that you will keep them safe from the evil one. For a couple of moments, I want to preach on the topic. The king is calling you. Turn to your neighbor and say, the king is calling you. You've been pressing on that snooze button for too long. You've been postponing this day for another day, not tomorrow. But the king is calling you today. Why don't you lift up your hands, Father? We thank you. There is no one like you. Your presence is in this place, and I can feel you all around us. I ask you to give me the clarity to speak the thoughts in my mind. Break every yoke, every bondage, every spirit that's against your spirit, God. Let me speak what you have given to me. Your word is already blessed. But bless this message. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Do me a favor. Clap your hands. Do me another favor. Why don't you open up your mouth for the next 20 seconds and just give God a praise. Just give him a praise. Just give him a praise. Just give him a praise. States. First part of it is not known as the introduction. It's known as the preamble of the Constitution. And because this nation is a democratic nation, the Constitution begins in this manner. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, we have to understand that we see the Constitution starts declaring that there's an importance to create a more perfect union, to establish a perfectionist union. In this fashion in which it states, it begins by saying, we, the people of the United States. We have to understand, church, that we are living in a democratic nation, as I've said before, where the importance of this nation is not the government, but the importance of this nation is the opinion of the people. It's the people that have the voice. It's the people that have the vote. It's the people that have the importance of this country and not the government. Sometimes we need to stop blaming Obama and our president and start blaming the people. The nation is really focused on the opinion of the people and how they want to live and with who they want to live.
That's right.
And the error of the system is that the people is trying to create a perfect union with unqualified, ungodly methods with no fear of the aftermath. But in the kingdom of God, this kingdom is not of the people. It's not by the people. Everything we do in the kingdom is for the king. By the king. Because of the king. And because of who he is, that's what we give him praise. See, if I praise God, it's for the king. If I shout, it's for the king. If I dance, it's because of the king. Everything that I do here is not for the people, it is for the king. Everything that we do in Praise Tabernacle is for the king. When you offer and you tithe, it's not for somebody, it is for the kingdom of God. That the opinion of the people and how I worship God doesn't matter. The opinion of the people and how I worship God or how I live for God really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you think of me, because in the kingdom of God, your opinion doesn't count. The Bible says that the king dwells in the midst of the worship of his people. So if there's something that I have to understand, that it doesn't matter what my neighbor thinks of me, or it doesn't matter what the people think of my relationship with God, because my relationship is not for the people, my relationship is for the king. Oh, I wonder if there's someone in this place that can give God glory, that it's not the people that can judge me. The people can say whatever they want to say, but the only thing that matters is that my relationship is not for the people. My relationship is with the king. Do me a favor, turn to your neighbor and tell them, hey, does it bother you the way I worship God? Now with a little attitude, tell them it doesn't matter what you think. Because your opinion doesn't make a difference. Your opinion, your comment is not going to change God's glory in my life. Your opinion is not going to make a difference if God blesses me today or tomorrow. Your opinion doesn't have no say in this. What I do is for the King of Kings. His opinion matters. I'll go fast. I will get it. Because Matthew 5, 6, and 7 is what I call the Constitution of the Kingdom, or the preamble of the kingdom, or better yet, the preamble of the Constitution. And it doesn't start by saying we the people, but Jesus, the King, starts positioning the people, and the first thing he declares to them is not we the people. The first thing he declares to them is, you're blessed. Because the first position that Jesus gives to people is you're blessed. Then Jesus recognizes your condition, and then he declares your condition doesn't matter because your position in the Constitution is declared that you are blessed. Some people didn't get what I'm saying. Because even though I am poor in spirit, even though you are poor in spirit, you are still blessed. Even though you're being persecuted, you are still blessed. Even though you're broken, you are still blessed. Because your position eclipses your condition. Because God will always acknowledge your position before he sees your condition. I thought I was going to have 5 or 6 hope in this place that said, I thank God that he didn't see me in my condition. He saw my position. He says, you are my son. You are my God. Listen, Jesus will never call you by your condition. He will always call you by your position.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
People will call him the lame man or the blind man. Jesus will never call him the blind man. He will call him my son, my daughter. God will never see your condition. He will see your position. He sees there's somebody in that place that will worship me. He is my position. But you don't have a car. That doesn't matter. I'm still blessed. Don't judge me for what you can see outside. Judge me for what I have inside. If God said I'm blessed, it's because it's a law. I am blessed. You don't have no money. Money doesn't bless me. I bless the money. I am blessed. What God has declared over my life, it's the thing that matters. What you say doesn't matter. When God said I am blessed, it's because I am blessed. Many of you would have thought that Joseph the slave didn't have a blessed life. The reality is, it had been declared to him that he was going to be blessed. He was a blessed slave. You might be poor, but you're a poor, blessed Christian. Because sooner or later, I'm going to receive what God has promised me. You can say whatever you want to say. Your opinion doesn't matter. God said I'm blessed, and I believe that I am blessed. I don't know if I'm also spoken in this place, but I wonder there's some people in this place that say, it doesn't matter my condition, I am still blessed. See, now this word was not only declared to the Israelites, but it was declared to those who received it. How many received it? Okay, I got like 10 people that received it. I'm preaching. And he says, you are blessed. So blessed that the kingdom of heaven is yours. Thank you for those 2 people that said amen for that. You're so blessed that everything that touches the planet of your feet shall be yours. Okay, I'm looking at country, y'all. Because we are so blessed, you will not be the tail, you will be the head. I came to tell you, you are blessed. You are a blessed church. You are a blessed family. You are blessed. If you believe it, why don't you clap your hands and say, my family is blessed. My kids are blessed. My job is blessed. I am blessed. My children are blessed. My grandchildren are blessed. My house is blessed. The work of the devil is to try to convince you you're not blessed. See, there's things that the enemy cannot take away. And there's things that he could take away. He could take away your house, but he cannot take away your home. He could take away your money, but he cannot take away your riches. He could take away your past, but he cannot take away your future. Ain't you blessed? Hey, I might not live in a mansion, but I am still blessed living in that apartment. I am blessed. I'll continue. So, after Jesus gives the preamble, then he declares to them who they are. He begins to tell them, you are the salt of the earth. And if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be salty again? It's no longer good for anything except to be thrown down and pampered under the earth. Then Jesus continues to declare, you are the light of the world. Right. And I wish I had time to explain to you. There's 5 definitions for the world. It could be explained differently. We are the world. The universe is the world. God is saying we are the light of this universe. Yeah. Notice that he tells them you are the salt of the earth. But then he tells them you are the light of the world. We have 2 places here that we need to impact. There's the earth and there's the world. Everybody say earth. Earth. And everybody say world. World. For many years they taught me, I don't know about y'all, but they taught me and I thought, maybe I was learning wrong, that the earth, the world are the same thing. But when you study the Bible, the earth in Greek is called "T.R.I.B.E.S." That means soil, country, ground, land, just simply dirt. And God is teaching us that we need to be salt in the earth, letting us know that we preserve the earth because we are the salt. Good. So I'm not here to change the earth. We are here to preserve the earth.
That's good. Good.
I'll continue. Then Jesus says, you are the light of the world. And the world in the Greek is called cosmos. Cosmos. And that means orderly arranged decoration of systems of the world. So in other words, I preserve the earth when I become a light in the systems of the world. Right. So if this generation, if this church is going to elevate, shine, or uprise, we need to become light in the systems of the world. And you might be asking yourself, well, what is the systems of the world, Pastor? Well, the systems of the world is religion, family, ministry, education, government, media, arts and entertainment, and businesses. The moment that we understand that we need to get into the systems of the world, and once we are in, we will realize that the systems of the world are full of darkness, but when we get there, that's it. Thank you for those 3, I gotta go with you. But when we get there, because we're gonna get there, we will become the light to this world that will be able to preserve the earth. Oh, I got my deep glasses on today. Ladies and gentlemen, the world is anticipating the manifestation of the sons of God. The earth is waiting for you and me to stop playing church and get into the world and change the world upside down. And when we change the world, we will bring creation back to order. I don't know if I'm preaching to somebody today that's tired to see the world like it is. This is not for everybody. I just need some trailblazers with me. I'm talking about changing the world. You're struggling with changing your household. I'm talking about changing the world. So then they asked Jesus, what's the signs you're going to give us before the second coming? that Jesus begins to show in Matthew 24, and then Paul received the mysteries of the catching away of the church. In 1 Corinthians chapter 5, 2 Thessalonians chapter 4, and all of a sudden the church begins to create an escape mentality. Everybody say an escape mentality. Church begins to create, it starts declaring, we're leaving. Some glad morning I'll fly away. And I'm going up in yonder, I'm going to walk in the streets of gold. Now everybody is waiting to get out of here. Everybody wants to go to heaven. Who wants to go to heaven? Amen. Put your hands. Put your hands back down. Who wants to die? And that's the mentality of the church. Everybody wants to go to heaven when heaven wants to come to earth. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. As much as you want to go to heaven, heaven wants to come to earth to make a change in this world and bring back order. See, the old folks are like, what happened? I want to be here. But Jesus says, when I come, occupy yourself. Jesus didn't say preoccupy yourself. He said occupy yourself. Good. My God. All scared, putting in the network. ISIS is taking over. I feel like slapping some folks sometimes. Which you're supposed to be declared is Jesus is taking over. We're about to make a difference in this world. So all of a sudden, the church mentality becomes a mentality of escape. And everything that happens in nature, politics, mainstream religion, we think that Jesus is coming. Jesus is coming. Jesus, and he is coming. But he didn't say, preoccupy yourself. He said, occupy yourself. Turn to your neighbor and say, occupy yourself. In other words, get busy. He said, I'll come and occupy yourself. Occupations in the dictionary says to get busy and to fill voids. I'll repeat it. To fill voids. He said, work as there were hundreds of years left of my coming. In other words, occupy yourself once again. So Jesus' prayer, John 17 says, my prayer is not to take them out of this world. Don't take them out of the systems of the government. Don't take them out of the systems of education. Don't take them out of the systems of finances. Don't take them out of the systems of businesses. Because if there's kingdom child in there, there's going to make a difference. And they're going to bring light into the darkness. And the kingdom of heaven is going to come back to earth. So the message of the messenger was Nebuchadnezzar. Nabucodonosor, that's how you say it in Spanish. Nebuchadnezzar, all right? That's a nickname now. He begins to look around his kingdom and give me a couple more minutes. And then he starts seeing certain voids in his kingdom. He begins to search around his own kingdom and to find people with the ability to fill in the voids. There was positions of his council that no one in his own kingdom could fill in the void. There was positions in the education department, financial department, medical department, entertainment department that no one in his own kingdom could fill in the void. So then he goes and tells Asmodeus, there's no one in this kingdom that could qualify to fill voids in my house. Do me a favor. Go to the house of Judah. What's this church called?
Praise Tabernacle.
Go speak in tongues Sunday to Sunday, but really want to do something supernatural. Find me some people that are not with an escape mentality that are just waiting for the rapture. Find me those people that can fill the void in the kingdom's house.
Yeah. I come to declare to this church. Listen up. This church is about to go to a different dimension. But there's positions in our city halls that we need to fill. There's position in our counties that we need to fill. There's position in congresses that we need to fill. There's position in the hospitals that we need to fill. Homosexuals are declining and they're not doing nothing with it. Satanics are trying and it's getting worse. The world is about to say, go to Praise Tabernacle and give me some people that are ready to take over this world and change this world upside. I just wonder if I have about 5 or 8 people that says it's time to make a difference. It's time to get busy. When we start speaking about work, doing something, I know it's a quiet message. Believe me, I preach in my church. I preach messages like this in my church. They think I'm preaching a Macarena. So we're talking about work. Oh, working? Brother, me? The city hall? Come on now. Me, the White House? Come on now. Me, doctor? Come on now. But you know what? God give you the ability.
Yes.
We need you in our city halls. In order to be the light of the world, you got to get into the systems of the world. So the world. So now we get this. Yeah, I got to work on that. It took me years to say it in Spanish, now I forgot it in English. but Nabby. He said, bring me. This is number 1. And I'm going to do 7 steps. Oh God, I should have said 7, because then he was like, man, it's going to take 31 minutes. Number 1. He says, bring me, sons of Israel, from the house of worship. He didn't say go to Princeton University or UNLV and bring me all those educated folks and let's have a job here. No. He was specific. He said, go to the house of Judah. And bring me not washed up worshipers. He said, bring me some radical worshipers. Because if you bring me some radical worshipers, they are going to change the atmosphere in the kingdom. And in order to change the atmosphere in this place, we cannot have washed up worshipers. He said, bring me some radical worshipers. So number 1, is there some radical worshipers in this place that can change the atmosphere of this world? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Where are the radical worshipers that say, I'm the worshiper, and the atmosphere will change, the demons will flee from my house, I'm the worshiper. Worship changes the atmosphere.
Yes, sir.
Silence kills the atmosphere. Woo. You want to test it? I'm not scared. You better help me when it's time to pray.
You walk into a dead church that's like this. That was Nevi's kingdom.
Lord, they were washed up. Oh, what is this kid going to tell you about worship? I've been in church 50 years.
You sure don't act like it. Because if you know you've been here for 50 years, you know you have to praise God when you walk into those doors. And all of a sudden, you start clapping your hands, and you start opening up your mouth, sickness starts fleeing from this place. Demons start running out of this place. Fathers start being broken. Walls are being broken. I dare somebody to worship God for 30 seconds. Change the atmosphere in your house. Change the atmosphere in this church. Change it. The devil's hates. But if you praise, something is about to happen. If you praise, you will receive your healing. If you praise, you will get your blessing. Change the atmosphere in the kingdom. Listen. I don't worship God because I feel it. All right? This flesh, man. God, this flesh doesn't want to worship God. Don't tell me your flesh brought you here and tell you, oh, praise God. Whatever. This flesh is weak. My younger brother says, man, you're weak sauce, bro. But the reason why I start worshiping God is because through my worship, I receive what I need from Him. See, like this, I ain't gonna do nothing. But when I do this, God moves in my situation. Just ask Paul and Silas. If they would have been quiet in that jail cell, nothing would have happened. But they say, oh, as soon as we start worshiping, we change the atmosphere. Things start being broken. Ground starts shaking. Change the atmosphere of the So whenever you feel sick, I'll give you something better than Tyler. That's right. Worship God. Whenever you feel lonely, I'll give you the secret. Worship God. Whenever you're broke, I'll give you the secret. Worship God. When someone hurts you, I'll give you the secret. Worship God. And you see how you change the atmosphere in your situation. So if you leave this place saying, I ain't feel nothing, it was not my fault. It sure wasn't the Christian's fault. Oh, heck no. Don't you even dare blame on the Christian. It was your fault. It's like going to a gym. Just because I went to the gym doesn't mean I'm going to lose weight. Taking selfies at church like if God's going to bless you through a selfie. Trying to show that you are a Christian because you checked in and Praise Tabernacle. It doesn't mean nothing if you don't praise God. You ain't going to see a difference if your mouth is shut and your hands are crossed. Change the atmosphere. Say, praise God into my kingdom. I'm going to get 30 seconds to those fake folks that are with me in this passage. Change the atmosphere. Change the atmosphere.
get quiet by the time you get to 7 up. I hope I still have like 10 of y'all. The first one was go to the house of Judah. Right? Yeah. Getting some breakers. Yeah. It'll change the atmosphere.
Number 2, he said, bring them from the king's house. Because if they come from a kingdom household, they understand first kingdom culture, kingdom principle, kingdom order, and they will submit to authority, and they will understand the principles of obedience, because when you live in the king's house, you don't do what you want to do. You have to wake up when the king tells you to wake up. You do what the king tells you to do. You don't have an opinion. You just shut your mouth and just say, yes, sir. See, the problem with our generation is that we just talk too much.
That's right.
There used to be a song when I was growing up. You talk too much. You never shut up. Remember that, brother? Talk too much. Talk about this. Talk about that. Talk about how much money you're going to make. Talk about one day you will have all this stuff. You just talk too much. Talk about how many girls you have. You don't even have a job.
All right.
Trying to get married, but you haven't found a job in 2 years. You just talk too much.
I lost her.
He said, the king wants you to come to his household and take decisions. You have to submit yourself and be obedient, because when that happens, it will bless your city and it will bless you wherever you go. See, it wasn't the strength of David that gave him the victory over Goliath. Everybody talks about the victory over Goliath. He received the victory the moment he obeyed his father and gave bread and cheese to his brothers.
That's right.
Because obedience will open up doors to the king's palace. So in order to fill the voids of the kingdom's house, you have to have obedience.
Now turn to your neighbor and say, we need to obey.
See, every time I talk to my leaders, I tell them, listen, if you're going to bring me a complaint, bring me at least one opinion of what you think that can resolve this issue.
Because if you only bring me complaints and don't give me advice on how to resolve this issue, it doesn't mean that I'm going to take your advice, but at least when you tell me advice, it means that you care about the situation.
Yeah.
I lost y'all, but what's that guy that got it?
That's right.
Because crying without a solution is just whining. Complaining without a solution, you're just whining forever. Talk to me about a situation, but bring me an advice or bring me a situation that I can fix the problem. That makes me understand that you're obedient to me and that you care about the kingdom. I'll continue because then I'll get in trouble. But number 3, the king said, bring me young people. Bring me young people. Bring me new blood. Bring me fresh ideas. Bring me open-minded. Bring me young folks with the hunger and eager to learn. Young people with new projects. Young people that have a different outlook. and they'll reach a different demographic. Bring me people with good mindsets. Don't bring me old skins. Don't bring me old mindsets. Bring me people with a fresh vision. Don't bring me people that are just sitting in the chairs waiting for the rapture. No, bring me somebody with a vision. Bring me some trailblazers. Is there anybody here with a new mindset, with a new vision? Is there anybody here that says, I've got to do something for the kingdom of God? I know I'm preaching a pastoral message, but hopefully I can come back and preach another one. Bring me your mindset. Listen, if you don't know how to work this phone, you say, I'm too old for that. The king doesn't want you. He says, learn. Get a phone. Get updated. Oh no, I'm cool with my flip phone. Listen, if my mama could text me, and she's from Mexico. If my mama could text me, how you doing, son? Believe me, you can learn how to text. Get updated. That's what the key was saying. This is biblical. Number 4. Bring me strong people. People that are not going to fall. People that are being able to handle the change. Make sure they're strong because the transition they're going to happen, the growth that's going to happen, they're going to be criticized. They're going to be talked about. They're going to be defamed. And if they're strong enough, they can handle and stand strong with their pastor. Bring me strong people. Don't bring me weak-minded. One day you're with me. The other day, I don't know if you're with me. One day you're dancing. The other day you're burning, clapping. He said, no, don't bring me those. They can't feel it in the voice. Bring me strong people. That they got called 7 times, but they pick themselves up again 8 times. Bring me strong people. And I believe that in this place, the all people that are here are strong people. You should have been dead a long time ago. The devil should have killed you a long time ago. But you picked yourself right up and said, I'm going to the house of the Lord. See, you have to understand. Oh, God. You guys tell me, wait when it's time to go. Preach. I don't get to preach till 8 o'clock, so. I'm preaching in my church. But check this out. You have to understand that the trials took you to your destination. Right. That's right. See, Pharaoh told the soldiers, kill all the Hebrew boys. Yeah. Because there are too many. Throw them in the river and let the beasts eat them. There was a young boy named Moses that what should have killed him actually took him to his destination. So you need to stop worrying about what you went through and start thanking God what you went through, because if it wasn't for that situation, you wouldn't be in the position that you are. A lot of girls gave up. A lot of people gave up. But since you're strong, you got yourself right up and down and say, thank you for my heartbreak. Thank you for throwing my heart away. Thank you, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be the person that I am. Believe it or not, the person next to you is strong. Right? He didn't even really himself. Tell him he's strong. Number 5. Oh my God, this one hurt me. I'm with y'all this one, okay? This is what John says. He said, bring me healthy people. That guy. That means I cannot be at tacos and Gordo at 2 in the morning. He said, bring me healthy people. God heals us. And we go right back to what
That's right.
brings your sugar down. As soon as you feel good, you go back to the golden plan.
Come on, preach, preacher.
I told you I'm preaching a pastoral message. He said, bring me healthy people. People that take care of themselves. People that exercise. You run around the block, that's good for you. He said, bring me healthy people. Don't you dare bring me unhealthy people, because I ain't got no insurance. See, your body has to keep up with your anointing.
All right.
I'm looking at me all chubby. I can't chubby. This chubby boy has preached 5 times in one Sunday. Because I have understood that my body has to keep up with my anointing. The king says, I want healthy people. If they're going to run with me, they better keep up with me. I don't want to be running and they're like 2 blocks away. He said, no. Bring me healthy people. That when it's time to move from buildings, they won't move with me. Don't bring me homesick people. No. Bring me people that are waiting to make a change. Oh, that hurt. Number 6, number 5 hurt. But the reason why you want healthy people is because healthy people are extremely disciplined. Oh God, I'll repeat it. I see Sister Elizabeth. My God. Hopefully my wife will see me look this. By the time, I know she's only like 20 years older than me. By the time my wife reaches her age, I want my wife to be like that. But I tell you what, I know she's a disciplined person. Because when Pastor Blizzard goes to my church, he says, if only my wife was here, she would not let me eat those 2 more tacos. I'm really going to run out of this place. Healthy people are disciplined people. I'm coming to the church. What kind of God are you
going to serve.
I want healthy people that can dance. I want healthy people that can clap their hands. I want healthy people that can open up their mouth. I want there is some healthy people in this place that's not healthy enough to be in the kingdom's house. I dare one or two people that run one more time up this altar and say, I am disciplined. I can worship God.
I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Number 6. What's number 1? Number 1 was bringing sons of Israel, the house of Judah. Number 2, bringing the kingdom-minded people. Number 3, he said bringing young people. Number 4, bringing strong people. Number 5, bringing some healthy people. Number 6, everybody say number 6. He said bring some good looking people. Touch your neighbor and say, you need it. Listen. I'm serious. He said bring me some attractive. Good. See, I tell some young folks in my church, listen, you're not good looking, bro. But if you wear a tie, a nice suit, and some nice looking shoes,
That's right.
you'll be all right. But I just don't understand. You know you're not good looking and you don't dress good. And then you're looking for your dream, man, looking like it's nightmare. He said, let me get back to serious. Come on, guys. I got to figure out. You guys are supposed to be quiet out there. He said, bring me some good, handsome people, attractive people. Because when I'm about to project, I want it to be attractive to the rest of the world. When I'm about to launch, I want it to be attractive. It needs to be attracted by the rest of the world. The king is requesting to fill in positions, and he doesn't want ugly attitudes. Doesn't want ugly tempers. Don't bring me those ugly people. Because you thought I was talking more about the outside. You might be looking good from the outside, but as soon as your character shows, it's ugly. That's why sometimes I see some ugly looking dudes with some good looking girls. And I go to them and say, girl, how do you do that? They said, girl, it's just, I don't have an ugly temper. I don't have an ugly attitude. I know I'm ugly from outside, but the inside is looking mighty good. Because you might be looking good from the outside. But the king said, if they have an ugly attitude, don't bring them here. They have no business here. They have a good attitude. They're smiling all the time. They're saying, this is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice in it. Bring those into the house. So people need to work on the outward, healthy, the inside. Attitude. Man, I got some folks in my church that won't tell me. I'm trying to sell them over here. But it's passionate and preaching.
at somebody, you're like, man, I don't know what I looked at. I saw him, and everybody tells me, man, what are you looking at? What beauty do you see? I can't explain, but it's just the inside that is beautiful. Now, don't come to me and say, bring me like your nightmare. You're like, really, Jimenez, I got your advice. This is a girl, and she's like 20 years older than me. And he told me. If I look at her inside, no. What I'm trying to say is that something. Trophy will get you in trouble, young man. Come on. God. Yeah. And that mama's boy will get you in trouble too.
Yeah, come on now.
Because the looks in 20 years, he ain't gonna be looking like he looks now.
Right.
I wish I had some witness in this place, but I guess not. It's gonna be the inside of the person that's gonna make the beauty to be able to work. See, the king says, listen, I don't care how they look from the outside, as long as they brush their teeth. When it's time to come to church, they know how to come to church. That's why I love these men. That's an example for me. Look, why do you think I dress nice today? I know I was coming to Praise Tabernacle. We don't play here. We didn't come to the park. We came to the king's house. I said we came to the king's house. And I don't look that good from the outside, but if I dress good and have a good attitude, I belong in this place. God, number 7, I'm out of here. God, it's only 10 to 5. Number 7. What was number 6? I love walking into this place, and as soon as I enter that street, beautiful. Oh, that's beautiful. It's beautiful. Number 7, find people that are trained in all wisdom and exposed. Oh, I'm going to get in trouble. Listen to this. Because if we go into fill positions of kings, can't go there with no wisdom. That means we need to be well-rounded and exposed to all things. Are you listening to me? See, sometimes we just come to church and we just talk to church people, and the only thing we know how to talk about is church things. Every so often, that type of conversations, don't judge me, don't send me to hell yet. It becomes boring. We don't know what else to talk about. Because there's no knowledge, there's nothing. Japan, they speak Japanese. In China, they speak Chinese. Sometimes in church, the only language we talk about is Christianese. Sometimes you're trying to judge me because I'm trying to tell you, man, that car was nice. What car? Why you use cars? Pretty nice. No one else. I mean, no other conversation we can have. But Paul said, I am all things to all men. That means that Paul could sit down with the greatest philosopher and philosophize. Paul could talk to the greatest Barbadian and talk Barbadian because Paul was exposed. The king said, train people with wisdom. Because people of the house of Judah understand that when they're exposed, they have no fear. They have no fear because they go back to the house of God. That means you can be exposed to all things, but you will always, always return to the house of God. Get a library card. I preach these messages in my church. I'm crucified. Because their mentality is that they're still in the ranch. They're still in horses. They're still in Mexico milking the cows. Listen, Moses took one night